Hello. Thank you for tuning in to this primary election candidates forum for Thurston County Public Utility District Commissioner District 1. The forum is presented by the Thurston County League of Women Voters and TCTV. The League is a nonpartisan citizens organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in government. The League is open to anyone of voting age. I'm Rita Robison, a League member, and I'll be moderating this forum. The candidates for PUD Commissioner District 1 are Steve Fossum, Justin Cover, and Linda Osterman. The candidates will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. Then I'll ask questions of the candidates in alternating order. The person asked the question will have 2 minutes for a response, followed by 1 minute from the other candidates. There will be 1 minute for closing statements at the end. We'll begin with opening statements from the candidates, beginning with Steve.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Rita. Voters of Thurston County, my name is Steve Fossum. I want to be your PUD Commissioner for District 1. If you don't know what the PUD Commissioner does, you are not alone. Many citizens of Thurston County don't even realize that we have a PUD. That needs to change. Why should you care what the PUD does? Whether you realize it or not, part of your property taxes go to the PUD for planning and other functions. You have a stake in the PUD. Right now, the PUD provides water service for 4,000 customers. Safe, clean, and affordable drinking water is critical to all of us. The PUD commissioners make sure it's available to those who need it. The PUD needs to look to the future. It needs to expand its mission to provide utility options for more of our county's residents beyond just water. Broadband, sewer, and electricity are possible long-term options for the PUD. Expanding into other utilities will bring jobs to Thurston County, good family wage jobs, to build the infrastructure required to branch out into other utilities. I want to be part of the future of the PUD. I want to raise the profile of the PUD and make it more responsive to the needs of our community. I want the PUD to serve as many citizens of Thurston County as possible. Please join me to make this happen. Please cast your vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin?
Thanks, Rita, and thanks to the League and to TCTV. My name is Justin Cover. I'm running to be your Thurston PUD Commissioner in District Number 1. My campaign is about open government, fair rates, and clean water. And I am the only candidate in this race who has really reduced a water rate increase in this community. I have a history of activism in utilities. In 2008, I was active with the 2009 to 2014 water system plan and helped reduce a cumulative 37% water rate increase. In the year 2009, I was active in the city of Tumwater, exposing how the people of Tumwater are paying extra for their sewer in order to subsidize the Tumwater Valley Golf Course. I've been standing up around the community for lower rates and open government. When I say open government, I'm talking about bringing streaming video to our PUD. Even our library board has streaming video, and I want to bring that same technology to the Thurston PUD so that people can see who is raising their water rates and why. When I say fair rates, I'm talking about bringing a process that will put the voters in more control of their rate-making process and of the rates they pay. When I say clean water, I'm talking about devoting our limited resources, so much as we can, to tackling the pollution problems that we have here in our community. We have problems with arsenic and fecal coliform ranging from human and animal sources, and we also have fluctuating levels, fluctuating tolerance levels from the state, federal, and county level governments. And I'm looking to tackle that pollution so that we can have clean water for all of our people. And I'm asking for your vote on November 6th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Linda?
I'm Linda Osterman, and I am running for PUD Commissioner, District 1. I have a long life of community service. I have brought people together. In fact, it's probably my greatest asset, bringing people together to work for sustainable resources, for changes with health and safety. Primarily my work before was in health and safety. My management skills were in planning and leadership, in organizing, and in decision making. But I also helped with creating a vision and a mission, and I see this PUD needing both. It's small, it's only about 10 years that it's really been active, and it has done a good job of providing clean, affordable water to the PUD people that it serves at this time. In fact, it gets the highest rate from both the state health department and from the county health department. But I was at a water forum a couple weeks ago, and people were talking about the fact that water is one, and we all think that's kind of a no-brainer. But when I looked around the room, I saw people from various agencies there working on water, and it occurred to me that if water truly is one, which it is, which we all value as one of our most critical resources that we have, we need to be working together. We need to come together, we need to collaborate, we need to look at our vision, we need to create our mission, and we need to be able to solve some of the things that we're facing. I was an instructor and I was a manager of human resources as well. I know that change is difficult, but we do need to teach conservation without pain, and we also need to teach and grow into a world of sustainability. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Now we'll start with our questions, and Justin will have the first question. The Thurston Public Power Initiative provides for up to 10 years for the Public Utility District to flip the first switch. At this point, how long do you envision this taking, and to what areas would you first provide service?
I feel like this question is way out ahead of where the process actually is. Right now, we're unsure whether the TPPI initiative is actually going to make it to the ballot. We're also still waiting on the results of the feasibility study. So, I mean, that is a question that takes a lot more hard facts than we have right now.
Thank you. Linda?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure.
Please? Thank you.
The Thurston Public Power Initiative provides for up to 10 years for the Public Utility District to flip the first switch. At this point, how long do you envision this taking, and to what areas would you first provide service?
Okay, thank you. It's the legislature that actually set that parameter, that the voters have 10 years from the time that they approve something for a PUD, and for us in Thurston PUD to be able to access a new utility, an area in which they are not working at this time. That will take a vote that would be on the November ballot. It's also possible that the PUD commissioners could put that on the ballot. However, they would have to pay for the election costs. At this time, I'm not certain. In fact, it does not likely that they're going to get the signatures. I would love to see, and who wouldn't, love to see public power. I would love to see our renewable resources be here in a way that are personal to us, where we have that good investment. I'm not sure that this is the time to do it because there is no plan ahead of this ballot.
Thank you. Steve?
Well, I do support public power, and I do support the Thurston Public Power Initiative. We do have to realize that we can't just throw a switch and overnight have public power for everybody. This is it's a long process, but it's quite worthwhile, and I do believe that Thurston County deserves public power. As far as what we reserve first, we are in the process, or the PUD is in the process of doing feasibility studies. What we also have to look at is average household consumption. I believe the figure that I've heard is the PUD could buy 50 megawatts for 2 years from the Bonneville Power Administration. So the question would be, with that 50 megawatts, and once we determine average consumption, where can we take the biggest chunk of the county and provide service more efficiently? And that's something that does require a little bit more study before we can answer that question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, for the next question, we'll start with Linda. Supporters of the initiative have indicated they believe the PUD could provide more reliable service than Puget Sound Energy. Do you agree? And if so, how would you provide more reliable service?
I think that question is a bit premature. How would they provide more reliable service would mean that when they began providing this, after probably several studies, They would have to bring in infrastructure, build up a company that would be able to serve as well as the PSE. And then to serve beyond what the PSE is serving us, they would have to work with the local people. Tree trimming is a huge piece of this, and that is controversial in terms of how people come out screaming about cutting their trees and doing it. I believe that the service time could be reduced if it was here in Thurston County. I believe that we might have more local people invested in the service, and that would be good.
Thank you. Steve?
Can you repeat that question?
Sure. Supporters of the initiative have indicated they believe the PUD would provide more reliable service than Puget Sound Energy. Do you agree? And if so, how would you provide more reliable service?
Right. I do absolutely agree with that statement. I believe that giving local control to our electrical utility to a citizen-owned PUD would be best. Not only would it be more responsive to the community, it would also create local jobs. We would require some infrastructure to be built and maintained. We would be providing good living wage jobs for families here in Thurston County. And whatever we would spend to build that, we would get back multiplied back into our economy. To me, it seems like it's a no-brainer.
Thank you. Justin?
I'm skeptical. I've heard the claim, but I haven't heard the facts that are supposed to support this. What I have heard is Commissioner Stearns and Corwin, who we will all work with, whichever one of us is elected, talk about the challenges in bringing the water PUD online, how it took years to find the manager that they needed, to need the kind of maintenance, get the kind of professional maintenance people they need to provide that service. Now, again, like I said, we don't have the hard facts yet. There's still the feasibility study being done. But I would just like to see more data before I made a decision one way or the other, because right now all I see is the claim.
Thank you. For the next question, we'll start with Linda. A large question is funding. How would you fund the change to public power?
I still have that question. But the research that I've done said that we could bring public power into Thurston County incrementally. And with the 50 megawatts that we would be able to purchase from Bonneville, I believe that there would be the money that we would be able to get through municipal bonding. WAPUTA, the Washington PUD Association, also provides knowledge and sends it out every week in terms of where there are funding sources, where there are grants. So I think the funding is possible at the 50 megawatt level, especially if we don't have to purchase a great deal of infrastructure. And there is a line in Trosper that is not being used from Bonneville that we would be able to tap into at this time if we are given the go-ahead.
Thank you. Steve?
Well, there are federal and state grants available for the funding to becoming an electrical provider. Additionally, there are low-interest loans. It's important to realize that for the most part, anything that we spend, we do not want to overly encumber the PUD with too much debt, but we do get back untold amounts just by what we can do to grow the economy by creating these jobs, to build the infrastructure and maintain the infrastructure, to become an electrical provider. I don't think that anybody really knows how much we get back, but it's immeasurable, I think. I think that I'm drawing a blank right here. What do I want to say? But anyway, I think it's immeasurable what we get back as far as what we spend in our local economy. And again, I think this is a no-brainer. This is great for the economy. It's great for the county. This is a progressive county, and I think that we need to have a PUD that reflects our values. We need a very progressive PUD, not just for looking at electrical, but also looking at broadband and sewer and other things down the road.
Thank you. Justin?
Yes, thank you. You know, the financing, I think, is probably the part where we have the most facts and where it gives me the most pause. Commissioner Corwin was talking about how we would need to spend $18 million just to bring the bonds to market. On top of that, the sort of financing that was available for Jefferson PUD is not available for Thurston PUD, which means the kind of grants and very cheap loans that they got are simply not available to us. Now, I've talked to financial people, including Commissioner Corwin, Mr. Bill Pilkey, and others, who are skeptical themselves that we could even bring these bonds to market and achieve a B- rating, which is the lowest rating that a municipal bond would be marketable at. So I'm not sure how we would finance it. It gives me pause that we might encumber the people with $500,000 to $1 billion for something that they're already getting the use of.
Thank you. The next question will start with Steve. If the initiative doesn't get enough signatures or doesn't pass, do you envision any other changes on the horizon for the PUD?
Well, I think it's important to look towards the future of the PUD. One thing the PUD could do now, without a vote of the people, is expand into wholesale broadband. And to me, that seems like a very exciting idea. Additionally, with the approval of the voters, it could become a sewer provider. There are some unserved areas of this county where that would be quite feasible. I think that I really want to be a part of the future of the PUD and explore these options. I think with the stake that we all have in the PUD, we all need to be able to be served by the PUD in some manner to help improve our lives.
Thank you. Justin?
Yes, for the future of the PUD, broadband is definitely on the table. I understand it's an issue at the legislature that prevents the PUDs from being a retail telecom customer. I'd be interested in lobbying our lawmakers so that we could be a retail telecom provider and bring savings to the people. Also, I've been out there doorbelling, and I talk to people. I tell them, our water rates are now 20% higher than the city of Seattle, and that surprises them. And then the next thing they say to me is, yeah, and my lot bill seems to be going up faster than that. So I am very interested in exploring the feasibility of bringing Lot Alliance under the auspices of either the PUD or its own sewer district. If we bring it under the PUD, we wouldn't have to pay new elected officials. Of course, that would mean using the same process that TPPI is now engaged in. At the same time, the lot facilities are already owned by the public. So the same financing difficulties that exist for an electrical provider don't exist for sewer. And those would be my two biggest things for the future.
Thank you. Linda?
I agree with points made by both of the other men here today. We have an exciting future in energy. There's technology and science out there. It's already been developed. But we here in Thurston County need to look ahead. Lot has been looking ahead. But when I talked to our county manager the other day, I said, what could the PUD do to work with you better? And he said, we could work on water and sewer together. Now, to do sewer, again, we have to go back to the ballot. But we have we're in Olympia. We can go to the legislature. We can go back to ballot. I believe if we have a solid, good plan where we have already researched our financial options and know and can give to the public exactly what their costs would be, then we could go to the ballot and a ballot could be passed. So I look at all types, broadband included, and the fact that we need to work more with our legislature.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And now we'll have our closing statements, starting with Justin.
Yes, again, I'm Justin Cover, running to be your Thurston PUD Commissioner. And again, I want to reiterate that I am the only candidate in this race who has actually reduced a water rate increase in this community. The water rates in the city of Olympia today are lower because of the work that I have done in this community as an activist. And I'm looking to bring those kind of principles to the Thurston PUD for open government, fair rates, and clean water, putting voters back in more control, bringing transparency and truth in budgeting, and fighting pollution as hard as we can. Thank you very much, and please vote for me on November 6th.
Thank you. Linda?
I believe that a part of what we need to be doing with water and with all of our natural resources is to be teaching people about conservation. It is difficult to get any of us to move out of our old habits, but I think we can teach people for instance, with gravity. 1/3 of our energy right now goes to push and move water. We can change that. There's all kinds of technology in gravity. There's kinds of filtration systems, new ones developed for clean water. We need to have clean, affordable water. I will bring to this PUD Commission table and board fairness, honesty, integrity, and transparency. And I would be honored if you would vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve?
Oh, first of all, thank you, Rita. Thank you, Justin and Linda, for attending. Also, thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this event. I have a long history of public service in the community, working for over 20 years for the Division of Child Support and serving as a shop steward and activist with my union. I am committed to public service. I want to expand my commitment to public service by becoming your next PUD Commissioner for District 1. Please join working families like those of the Washington Federation of State Employees, Local 443, who have endorsed me. I appreciate your time, I appreciate your support, and most of all, I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. This brings us to the end of our forum. Thank you, candidates, and thank you, TCTV and the League, for making this forum possible. Viewers, we hope that when you vote in the primary on August 7th, this information will help you make an informed decision about the candidates for PUD Commissioner District 1. Thank you for watching.